What's up? What's up? What's up? It is the Chad Prather Show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad you guys are here. Jump on in there. Jump in the chat. Woo, I love to see both of you here. This time change is crazy with the new earlier format of Before the Noise, and it makes for a very, very early day. And I just just got off another program that we did, and then I'm doing Sarah Gonzalez's show this afternoon. So it's a whole lot of talking. And I'm not sure if my head's screwed on straight. You know what I want in this world? I want to be able to look my kids in the eye. They're adults. But I want to be able to look my kids in the eye and see some clarity of thought in their brain and like just see that they have an understanding of how this world works. We're so confused. I'll say more about that here in a minute, but I want to be able to tell my kids the truth. I want to give them a worldview that actually leads them to something valuable without seeing the world systems out there just absolutely decimate what I've invested in them. Don't you want that for your kids? Don't you want that for your grandkids? Let me see you in the chat there. Dancing Banana, Party Foul Steve, Sparkly Chad. I don't care. It sounds so weird to say all that. But I just want to make sure that the investment that I made lasts for something. You know, don't you want to be able to look at your kids, look at your grandkids, and just know that you left something in that generation that matters? You know, not Bad Bunny, and not whatever crap the world is filling their minds with. There's so much to talk about today. Let's just suffice to say that the world and its systems, the inclinations of the world systems, the kingdoms of this world, okay? They're not neutral. They're not neutral. In fact, they're quite evil. If you just let yourself go into a place of drift where I'm going to mentally drift through this world, you're going to come out with a lot of poison in your mind. And it's not going to be good. It's going to be very destructive. And I can't stand the fact that we've allowed the world and its systems to disciple our minds. I bring this up because I was just thinking about a conversation I had recently with one of my kids, just a quick little text exchange about something that she had posted. And I said, honey, I hope you know that's not true. What you posted, it might feel good in this moment, but it's not true. And it concerns me because it's so subtle. The treachery, the deception of the world, the lies of the world are so subtle. And you know what's really evil right now? Is that if you tell the truth, like if you really tell the truth, if you talk about your convictions or the foundations of your faith or things that matter to you, things that you've built your life on, things that foundationally have lasted throughout millennia of human history, if you say those things, you're going to be accused of all kind of stuff. You're a racist, you're a xenophobe, you're a homophobe, you're a Nazi, you're a fascist. How dare you stand on a worldview that actually believes in something that requires stuff like personal responsibility or accountability? How dare you? Why can't we just let our feelings rule over everything? You know, you look at this Bad Bunny thing, which I did not watch, but I did research it. See, people love to ridicule or come after me on social media like the Trump monkey video thing. And people were like I was traveling that day when the whole monkey controversy came out. And people were like, why aren't you saying anything about this? I was like, honestly, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I haven't seen it. Well, I did, in light of that, go and research what had been posted. And I came back later on and said, okay, here's my opinion on it. People were like, I thought you said you didn't watch it. You know, I don't know how your days work, but there's like a progression of events that transpire in mine where maybe it starts here and ends there, and the way it started is not the way it ends. You know, you just kind of move through life, learning things, researching things. So people say, I thought you didn't watch the Super Bowl halftime. I didn't. But I'm also not stupid, and I'm also not ignorant of the way the world works. And so I went out and I did some research so I could at least be conversant in it so that I could maybe engage the world in which we live. People are exhausting, man. Because if you ever say anything publicly, then they're going to hold you to that forever. Like there's no follow-up conversation. People are exhausting. And you have folks watching this Bad Bunny halftime performance, and they're like, oh, it was such Puerto Rico. You just don't love Puerto Rico. I don't care. I don't sit around loving any place. You know? I don't necessarily love Sevierville, Tennessee, but I wasn't really thinking about it either. Just because Bad Bunny's from Puerto Rico doesn't mean I'm supposed to fall in love with where he's from. I don't really care where he's from. You just don't like performance art by somebody that's not the same color as you. What are you smoking? Like, pass that around, because if you're going to go through life that stupid, I'm thinking, ooh, you just don't like edgy art. What I saw after this Super Bowl performance was not cultural expression, okay? I've been to Puerto Rico. This was not some misunderstood poetic moment that we hate because we just have hate in our hearts. It was filth. It was filth that was laundered through a language barrier. People think just because he did it in Spanish, it was okay. If he had said those lyrics in English and not Spanish, phones at the Federal Communication Commission would have been melting. Parents writing letters. Advertisers would be issuing apologies. There's going to be an investigation in this. But people, they'll wuss out. They won't follow up with it. Network executives would have been holding emergency meetings before the third quarter kickoff if it had been done in English. And I didn't really need the language translated for me. When I see two dudes grinding, I can tell you that's not appealing to me. I don't like it. That doesn't fit my worldview. Definitely doesn't fit my faith view. So I watched two dudes grinding on each other and some guy grinding on a girl. And listen, I understand most Americans don't speak Spanish fluently. And a lot of the content might have slid right past the gatekeepers. But you got eyes to see. When you got Bad Bunny and his catalog is going to openly celebrate sexual acts that are graphic, they're degrading, they're explicit. You got songs associated with his performances that are bragging about cycling through multiple sexual partners in the same week. Explicit references to oral sex, crude descriptions of anatomy, dismissive language, abusive language towards women. That would have gotten an English-speaking artist pulled off the air in seconds. Now, again, I don't care where he comes from. I don't care what color his skin is. Don't care. But let me just say that when you got a line in your song, and I'll paraphrase it for decency, which basically says that a man doesn't perform a specific explicit act on a woman's rear end, that he should be discarded. It's not that subtle, guys. And it's also not art. It's beyond locker room vulgarity that's blasted into America's living rooms, and we call that family-friendly entertainment. We're not talking about a wardrobe malfunction. You remember when Janet Jackson's boob popped out with Justin Timberlake, and they were like, oh, it's a malfunction. I don't believe it was a malfunction at all. I think it was actually supposed to happen. We're way beyond that. When you got a dude who's singing about sexual conquest in terms that would make late-night comedians blush, you're going to broadcast that during the most family-watched television event of the year. And I know there's people who are going to say, yeah, but Kid Rock 25 years ago said, okay, I'm not holding Kid Rock up as a paragon of any example either. And I'll deal with that later on. I'm not holding Kid Rock up as some Christian example to say, ooh, look at Kid Rock. Now he's going to be a hero of the faith. Come on. There's a big danger in doing that, by the way, and I'll tell you why in a little while. But the part nobody wants to say out loud about any of this stuff is if a country artist or a rock band or a pop singer or whoever, you pick your person, if they would have sung those exact words in English, they would have cut the performance, they'd have pulled the plug, it'd have been censored, it would have never been approved in the first place. But they got rid of it. They didn't have any outrage panels. You know why? Because they set him up as, if you don't like him, then you're a xenophobe or you're a homophobe or you're a racist. But yet Did the sponsors pull out? I don't think so. Have there been any public apologies written up by the lawyers and the PR teams? No. But there won't be, because it was delivered by Bad Bunny in Spanish, and so ultimately the standards that you have had to disappear. So again, that's not about culture, folks. That's not about hate or anything else. It's about consistency, and you guys are hypocrites. Because we're told that broadcast television's got rules, right? We got rules. We're supposed to obey those rules. We're told that there's lines, and we're not supposed to cross those lines. We're told that there's standards for what millions of children are allowed to hear during prime time. Isn't that why they got the rating system? But those rules apparently only apply if you understand the words. You can do it in Spanish, right? So that's why I say I want to be able to look at my kids in the eye and say, man, I gave you every chance in the world to succeed. I gave you a value system. I gave you a foundational. I gave you faith. I talked to you about real things. I talked to you about the consequences of decisions you make. But then you got this world out there that just doesn't have any level of responsibility, right? And they're going to excuse it. I didn't like it. I don't like, and again, it's not about the performer. It's about any of it. I don't care if they're white, black, green, Puerto Rican, where they're from. I'm going to be a pretty fancy Puerto Rican. I don't care. I don't care. At the end of the day, there's right and wrong. And if we don't start calling it out, but see, we're not calling it out. I mean, you say, well, I don't like it. But again, we don't tell why you don't like it. Well, we don't want to do that because, again, people are going to accuse you of being filled with hate. Okay. Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, just like the Trump monkey video, right? Somebody sent me a thing, oh, Trump messed up. I was like, hey, if everything's racist, nothing's racist, right? We can talk about that later if you want to. I don't know if you want to, but I was really concerned. The video, the Trump video thing really got me twisted off because of how it demonstrated in real time the lack of critical thinking. It's just insane. Anyway, hey, my friends over at Birch Gold, they want to talk to you. Text Chad to 989898. And they'll send you that free no-obligation information kit. Some of you have sent me the emails, and I've gotten your address, different people. Not everybody, but some people. We've randomly picked some people. We'll continue to do that when you text Chad to 989898 and let me know you did it. We're sending some books out. Now, the key is, and if you were listening this morning on Before the Noise, I'm not getting the copies of these books until the 17th, okay? So it takes a while to get the bulk orders in, and we're out of books. So they'll be in on the 17th. So just give it a couple of weeks. We'll get some stuff sent over to you. But I'm just giving away books. And if you don't get one for free, go pay for it, Amazon. But text Chad to 989898. They will send you a free no-obligation information kit on how you can diversify your future retirement funds backed by physical gold. And A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. They want to send you that. So get some of your investments backed by gold, man. Gold's through the roof. Come out. Just text Chad to 989898. All right. Party Foul Steve, what are you doing, boy? Bring him on here.
I'm enjoying this lovely Tuesday morning. I think it's Tuesday, right?
Is it lovely? It is Tuesday. I had to think about it, too.
Lovely. I haven't really watched any of the Super Bowl halftime shows. I've watched a part of both of them. So
yeah, I didn't see.
I know the subtitles were off, so I couldn't. And my subtitles stay on my TV all the time, 100% of the time, because I read my TV.
Yeah.
And so, it's they didn't translate those Spanish lyrics to English, did they?
Well, I just no, and what I did was I did my research. I said, okay, I want to know what lyrics he used, and I want you to translate those lyrics. Like, just tell me. And this is the beautiful thing of using some Chat GPT or whatever you choose to use, of saying, all right, I want an accurate, no falsehood, true report, fact-checked report. What lyrics did he use that were in Spanish, and I want you to translate them.
All right. I mean, are you ready to call the FCC? I mean,
it's being done now. I mean, 100%.
It should be done. And Roger Goodall, they had a set of rules. Was that not one of the rules, or is that just supposed to be common knowledge rules?
I don't know what you're asking, but
okay, the Super Bowl
as far
had
as decency
for him. They didn't have. Did they have any decency rules? I don't know. All their rules were about
the FCC does. It doesn't matter about the NFL.
Yeah, but the NFL had certain timing. All their rules were based on the timing of the performance. And they
Yeah.
had to cut songs and make everything fit within a certain amount of time. But did they have anything in there about decency?
Well, they knew exactly what they were doing.
Two dudes grinding in the truck. I mean, you kind of seen it all. So I guess I'm homophobic. I'm a racist, and I'm a misogynist, and any other ist and phobia.
You're xenophobic too.
Oh, xenophobic too. So just pile it all up.
You hate foreigners, man.
No, I don't.
No, I'm just telling you. That's what they're going to tell you. That's like the Trump video thing. Trump puts the thing, and the Trump video thing. Let me just get this off my chest because I don't think I got anything in the notes here for this. But it just irritated me that people didn't know what Trump posted the other day. Like this, that's a perfect example of how we just lack critical thinking. Everybody kept posting that. The Lion Sleeps Tonight video, which was the AI rendering of the Lion King or whatever it was trying to do, where everybody was, that's not the video that Trump posted. And it was driving me crazy the other day that everybody was saying that was the video he posted. And it's like, that's not the video that he posted. He posted a 60-second deal about Georgia election fraud, and it rolled into 1 second of the beginning of the next reel. Now, again, edit that out, but people losing their minds over something that simply didn't exist. And what frustrated me the most was conservatives who now part of me thinks, man, Trump's pretty genius because he got everybody talking about that Georgia election fraud deal, right?
Yeah.
But again, they buried that video. As soon as it got deleted, it disappeared. It took me like 16 hours to get that video back, and I eventually posted it on what I said about it. But it really bothered me that everybody was like, no, what he posted was this, and he represented, everybody was, no, it's not the video he posted.
So they took that 1 second video of that tail end of that thing, and then they went to that video and said that was the one he posted.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, that's
exactly right.
Man, that's anything that anybody with TDS, with the Trump derangement syndrome, they're going to jump on anything and everything they can to make him go, oh, see, told you.
I have fatigue with it now. Like I really am exhausted.
You got so many people on there complaining about people complaining. That's social media these days. It's just
this morning I was reading through something, and we put a couple of clips out there. Like yesterday, I shared like a funny version of just the gospel in like 60 seconds. Right? We put that little short out yesterday, and then I was like, everybody, you got people in there that want to talk about Trump, and I'm like, if there was a way to like just unequivocally just go out and exonerate Trump of everything they accuse him of. Just if there was a way to just without any, just a foolproof way of saying he was exonerated from everything, they would still lose their minds because they have built their identity around hating this guy.
Yeah, I think it's funny because he does live inside their heads. I see it.
It's
I'm talking about
sad,
friends.
though, man.
People that I know, and it's like, man, y'all are just y'all are biting into that big thing called social media and believing everything about everything that you read except for the truth.
It's a sad deal, man. It's a sad deal. Stephen A., though, he went off on Bad Bunny on the halftime show. Take a look at this clip right here. Let's get in the top stories. Boom. Stephen A. Smith, this guy, he's so serious no matter what he's talking about. He's so serious about it. Play this clip.
If most people don't understand the lyrics because you're speaking it in what they deem to be a foreign language, that is a legitimate point that the president made. That part. That doesn't mean they had a problem with it. I'm just saying his statement that most people didn't understand anything he was saying. There's millions upon millions of Americans that would have wanted to hear something in English other than Lady Gaga. That is true. And me personally, been nice to see J-Lo out there. Been nice to see Shakira out there. Been nice to see a few people celebrating their Hispanic heritage, no doubt. But it also would have been nice if some of the songs were in English. That's all. The president is speaking on behalf, or was speaking on behalf of tens of millions of Americans who are like, I didn't understand a word he was saying because I don't know Spanish. That is a valid point.
Well, it was. I mean, it's Marxist collectivism is what it is. Just like when he starts the whole thing out, listing all those countries and basically saying everybody's the same. We're not the same. There's not a problem with being American, having American exceptionalism or having English as something that represents American exceptionalism.
You want to talk about exceptionalism? Look at the exceptionalism in the Latino community, and I'm talking about whether they're Puerto Rican, whether they're Cuban, whether they're Mexican, whether they're Venezuelan. Let them have a conversation about, and you'll find out real quick.
I can remember growing up. I learned that lesson very early on. I mean, you go out there and work on the crews where, the construction crews that my dad's companies, you'd walk out there on those job sites. Yeah, refer to one of those Hondurans as a Mexican. Find out real quick. Yeah. Like this, it's not. So again, did you say that lump everybody in there, shake them up and say, oh, Hispanic heritage? That's a pretty broad stroke. That's a pretty broad stroke. That's like saying, oh, your American heritage. Okay, well, is it Southern American? Is it Texan American, Southwest American, California, West Coast, Pacific Northwest? Is it New England American? I mean, what are we talking about here? Is it Midwesterner? We everybody's got these delineations of things. But I'm just saying that most of the people out there, if you look at the language of what he was saying, it was pretty disgusting, man. And the fact that they're not holding him accountable on that, you talk about broad strokes. So, Stephen A's calling it out for what it is, and that is, and I wanted to smack these hockey players. I was at your house over the weekend, and you got, dude, you with your TV, dude, you just got stuff playing. You're not even watching it. It's just scrolling.
Yeah, we just put the Olympics on and this time of year, and just both TVs in the living room are playing Olympics.
Just crazy, dude. It's like being in the airport at your house.
Yeah.
Except it's 7 degrees. It's so cold in your
Winter
house.
Olympics, dude.
It's so cold in your house.
I feel like you're there.
I don't know how anybody gets a house that cold. I mean, your pipes on your HVAC system just got to be frozen over. But these skiers that were like that guy who comes out and says, well, we're just, not real with mixed emotions of representing America right now because of everything that's going on. Bro, listen, you're so irrelevant. Nobody knows your name. Nobody's going to care about what you do. You got a few minutes of fame, literal minutes of fame, when the Olympics rolls around every 4 years. Nobody cares about your opinion. And again, it's a stupid opinion. I got a short coming out later on today about this curling guy who's like, I'm a lawyer, and talking about what's going on in Minneapolis. Like, don't hire that guy to be your lawyer because the stuff comes out of his mouth is absolute feelings over facts, and it's stupid. But I like this guy. Here's a USA hockey player who's actually proud to be an American. What a concept, man. Play the clip.
I mean, this is being able to represent the U.S. at this stage in the Olympics is one of the greatest honors that I've ever had. So I'm truly grateful to be here representing the red, white, and blue.
I think it kind of means the world. It's really like a whirlwind of emotions. Flying here this morning, hanging out in the village all day, and then getting fitted for our clothes and just meeting athletes and then coming here and practicing, and now it's all like, oh my gosh, like day one's over. Like, it's kind of crazy. So really enjoying the experience so far and having
that's the way it should be. I mean, why should there be another response?
Represent your country. That doesn't mean that you have to like everything at every minute little thing going on in the country.
Isn't that funny, dude? You bring up a good point. Like, isn't that funny? Like, have we always had to make a political statement about every participation thing that we do? Like, every time you get a platform, you got to tell everybody what you're offended by. Like, have we done that at every Olympics forever? I mean, if we,
I think so. I think so. At least on some level, there's usually one athlete that
maybe one. I understand. Putting your fist in the air.
They're trying to get their 15 minutes of being relevant in the world. No different than like the Grammys and stuff like that. They got to say the boldest thing, the whatever that crazy boldest thing is.
I guess. I don't know that historically speaking we've had to speak up about every single little platform that we don't understand everything about. Anyway, it's just a frustrating deal, man. I'm just ready to. I just want somebody to be proud of America again. But the frustrating thing is so many of us, even on our side, we're not proud of America right now because again, we're trying to turn it into a cesspool of crap, man.
That's
multiculturalism, And again, I go back to this whole deal. I don't care. I love diversity. It's fine. I'm not getting it tattooed on my forehead, but diversity is fine. I love hearing different opinions. I love different backgrounds. I love different cultures. I don't eat steak and potatoes every single night. I like a little variety in life. But this idea that this multiculturalism of just everybody categorically being different, that's not what America was established as. We are a melting pot. People don't want to be that anymore.
No. Well, like as far as culture, I like to go visit other cultures. I like to see other cultures. I like to experience other cultures. That doesn't mean I want to bring them into my home and adopt those cultures.
Mark Twain, and I'm paraphrasing, said, nothing destroys travel like prejudice, and nothing destroys prejudice like travel. I've spent my entire life traveling. I've been all over this world. I travel every week. I'll be somewhere this weekend. I'll be in multiple places next weekend. I like being around different places and different people. I like trying different things, new experiences. I was having dinner with my friend last night, who, by the way, is a black guy. And we were talking about playing golf in different places around the country. And it's like, you don't really want to go back to something because you want to go try something new. That's the human experience. But, if I have a preference or I have a taste in something, that doesn't mean I hate, but I also shouldn't have to be blasted or feel like I got to use my platform every single time to talk about how my feelings have been hurt. Almost part of me wants to say, hey, give them what they claim to want.
Sharia law? How about that one? Let's start with that one.
Give them what they claim they want.
Right into those cities.
See how that works. See how your freedom of expression, that's what that curling guy was talking about. I think I could be a good curler. I think I could sweep the ice.
That's like you can see the curling team walk in. They're usually the pudgy, overweight guys that.
Well, this guy said, I'm a lawyer, and he said, I don't like what's happening. He talks about Minneapolis. He says, when you violate people's right to free speech or freedom of the press or search and seizure, and he starts or detaining people without cause. And I'm like, he said, we can't just throw out the Constitution. Bro, you're applying the Constitution that applies to a U.S. citizen to people who are here illegally. What are you doing? What are you doing? So a part of me wants to say, hey, I tell you what you do. You take your multiculturalism and your so-called sense of elevated, deified diversity, and you try that in somewhere else. I had a pinhead tell me the other day. He said, talking about that people shouldn't be held accountable that are here illegally because this is public land. You can just live on public land. What? Like what? And by the way, you can't just do whatever you want to do on public land. Parks have closing hours.
They sure do. And they will run you off.
A school is public property, but you can't just go sit in a classroom somewhere. A courtroom is public property, but you can't just go sit in the middle of a trial. The judge has jurisdiction there. And so you're just public property. What? That's the level of stupid we're dealing with right here. So J.D. Vance, he's going to talk about Greenland, right? And this is what he had to say about Greenland and possibly its future as regards to national security in America. Play the clip.
Well, look, it's very early in the Greenland talks. I know that we've been working quite a bit on this over the last few weeks, but it's just very simple. Greenland is very important to the national security of the United States of America. I do think that some of our allies have underinvested in Arctic security. And if we're going to invest in Arctic security, if we're going to basically pay a lot of money and be on the hook for protecting this massive landmass, I think it's only reasonable for the United States to get some benefit out of that. And that's going to be the focus of the negotiations here over the next few months.
And there you go. I mean, he's right. It's very early in this whole thing. Everybody loves to,
have some of those
to the next conclusion.
European countries step up and take their responsibility, whether it be financially or putting their own people over there to in their own bases over there to protect that area.
Well, anyway, I'm just tired. I have fatigue.
It gets old. It's more and more. The more I see this, I'm more America first than I've ever been in my life.
America first, America only, Monroe Doctrine, all this kind of things. They get people in. They get people mad at you, dude.
Yeah.
Oh man. let's talk about our friends over at Home Title Lock. Is it Home Title Lock that we got today? Yeah, we got it. Our calendar is so absolutely screwed up. HometitleLock.com/Chad Prather. You got to use both names on there. Get the deal. They've got that $1 million title lock protection over there. They will do a free scan on your home title to see if you still own your mortgage. These scammers go out there, they get a copy of your mortgage, and they can get their hands on it, and then they sign it, and they get a fake notary, and then they go file it with the courthouse. Then they take out loans against the equity in your home. You are the one who get held holding the debt and maybe even a foreclosure notice because they stole your mortgage. They got the $1 million protection plan over there. If fraud happens where your mortgage gets stolen, they will spend up to $1 million. That's court fees, lawyers, all the stuff. They will help you get your stuff back, all right? This is one of the fastest growing crimes in America today. So you need to get that Home Title Lock security check. They will do that for free when you start the process. They will run that check on you just to make sure that you guys are clear. HometitleLock.com/Chad Prather. If you haven't done it, you need to do it. HometitleLock.com/Chad Prather. Don't let the scammers win. Well, let's see. The Super Bowl, again, I flipped over to the TPUSA deal, the Turning Point halftime show, because I wanted to see how they were going to do it, right? I was curious about that. And I was kind of curious to see how that was going to flow. Obviously, it was pre-recorded, and then they came out, and they did pretty good for what they did. I didn't quite know what was going on with the Kid Rock thing until it was done, and I was like, okay, that's cool. Really cool lyric. I love what he did with Matt Rogers and Ben Stennis's song "Till You Can't," which of course Cody Johnson made popular. It was Song of the Year, Country Music Song of the Year. And Ben Stennis, who wrote that song. I grew up with him. We lived on the same property together there in Augusta, Georgia, and so we grew up together. I texted him the other night. I was like, "Really cool. They're using your song for this," and the new lyric was really cool. And I warned everybody. Several people reached out to me yesterday because we knew that Kid Rock was going to be, oh, really, you're going to use Kid Rock? He's going to be your example of Christianity? No, and I didn't really see anybody doing that. Nobody was holding Kid Rock up as like some hero of the faith. And I would warn anybody to not do that because in a couple of weeks, Kid Rock's going to come out with something that everybody's going to now throw it back in your face and go, really, this was the guy you held up? No, listen, his journey's his journey. I mean, thank God that he's on it and he's willing to use that platform. He could have done anything, and he chose to do that.
They already started that last week whenever they came up, pulled out some old lyrics from some of his older songs.
Oh, now, it's just absolutely. Again,
and I get it. That is something to concern because I'm one of those that's like, man, you're a changed man. Pull that out of your catalog.
Well, that's easier said than done.
I know it's easier said than done, but could he? I mean, could you almost got to kind of denounce that past life, don't you?
Well, it's a song that is explicitly inappropriate. But again, why was the song created? What was it used? What was the message of the song? He's talking about a debaucherous lifestyle there. I mean, there's been a lot of songs written about debaucherous things that are out there that, Bob Dylan in a lot of his songs, David Allan Coe, they got the N-word in them. They're supposed to go back and denounce every single thing that was written or said. I mean, a lot of rap songs were talking about jailbait, whether we know what that is. I mean, I'm not excusing it at all. I'm just saying I've also never let rap music shape my life. Yeah. That's not the value system that I hold to. So I've never looked at Kid Rock's catalog of music and been like, oh, yeah, that's my value system. It's not. So again, I'm not shocked by any of it. I mean, if we're going to call somebody out and say, you'd have to call them all out. They've all said inappropriate things. What was the purpose of the song? What were they trying to do? And it's an explicitly horrible lyric that Kid Rock had, whatever it was, 25 years ago. Yeah, but again, they're going to latch onto that one thing and pull that out like that was his worldview or that was his his life mission or something.
That's 100%, and that's all of us. I mean, anytime you do anything good, somebody's got to reach back and call out the time you did something bad. That's human nature doing that.
Well, I said it this morning. I think I alluded to it on the show where somebody had said to me late last night, they said, Chad, we saw an old stand-up bit of yours, and it was, let's say, now like their way they, well, let's just say it was less than pure. Pretty much everything I've ever done in my life has been less than pure. I don't know what it's like to be pure. I'm sure that some of you out there have mastered that life of being pure. I really haven't yet. Like, I don't have the angle on purity. I want to, but I just don't, like, I'm often striving here. Yeah. But it's you know, I don't know what it's like to be perfect, and I'm sure some out there do, but there you go. And so I don't know. I think that I'm looking at the chat here. You guys
that's what I was too.
Up with stuff, man. Y'all are a mess. But again, all I'm saying is we're not holding Kid Rock up as some paragon of the faith.
No, but it does make me happy to see life changes.
I don't know what his journey is. I agree with you. It makes me happy to see. I love the lyric. I thought it was very powerful. It was a powerful lyric. And, you know, that's why you don't pick your heroes till they're dead. You really shouldn't pick your heroes till they're dead. There's a lot of people in this world that I chose to not meet when I had the opportunity to because I didn't want to be disappointed.
Yeah, because unfortunately, we usually are disappointed a little bit. There's been a couple that I have not been disappointed. So,
yeah. David pulled it out of the notes there, and that's okay. But we will put I'll do a little short later on about these football players just professing their faith in Christ and all of that. And I'm always hesitant to do that too because you know what's going to happen is one of these guys is going to do something. They're like, oh, this is the guy. Listen, you know, proclaiming your faith is not professing to be perfect. Again, we're holding these people up to a standard that, like, look, if a person can keep saying the right things, I truly believe that you will rise to pursue the confession of your mouth. When a person has a huge platform like that and they choose in that moment to say those things, I'm impressed by it because they literally could have said anything. They could have, you know, they could have said, I'm going to McDonald's or I'm going to Disney World. Isn't that what Michael Jordan, every time he won a championship, I'm going to Disney World. They could have said that. But again, they chose to talk about their faith, and I like that. All right, Anna Paulina Luna. She talks about what she saw in the Epstein files. Let's walk through this together because I haven't really versed myself real well in this new stuff that's coming out. Play the clip. Let's see what she says.
First one, real quick. You said that you do not support at all Ghislaine Maxwell getting any clemency for her testimony. And why is it important for her to be held accountable?
Well, because according to the files that we all saw, she was engaged in the trafficking and also rape of young women and potentially children. I don't think that she deserves any special treatment. She's a monster.
And are you gonna? First one, real quick.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
They shouldn't even, just dismiss her, keep her locked up.
Well, she's a predator.
Yeah.
And she enabled it, and so I don't believe in giving special treatment for that. We can waterboard her
talking about she would exonerate Trump and Clinton BS. I don't even want to hear it.
Yeah, I don't want to, because again, what would you do if you grant her some kind of clemency? Then they come back and say, "Well, see, she's protecting him because he granted her clemency." If there's, there must be something to hide. So that's a no-win situation too.
I do believe there's some stuff to hide. I do believe they're protecting somebody. There's multiple somebodies. So
I think a lot of folks are guilty. A lot of folks are guilty, and I also think that what people think is the truth is not necessarily the truth. I think there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of things that people, if you approach something with the wrong premise, you're usually going to get the wrong conclusion, okay? So I think a lot of people are approaching these things like the Epstein files or whatever's released that you're approaching with the wrong, foundational presuppositions there. They think they know what they're looking for. Like, all these celebrities and elitists and billionaires, they were just out there doing these horrible, horrible things to children. And I think there is an element to that, but I think it's far more than just that. I don't think it was always underage people. Sometimes it was just gross stuff, like with the Diddy deal. And so what happens is you have people that come out with these preconceived notions about what they're walking into. And as I said on the show last week, no matter what you uncover, there's nothing you can do about it because it's not provable in the American justice system in a court of law. And unfortunately, that doesn't diminish the import of these things. But where do you go from here? It's been mishandled from the beginning. Because, again, Epstein is not the disease. He's the symptom of the disease. Maxwell the same way. Whoever else you want to lump in there, even if it were Trump, he still wouldn't be the disease. He'd be the symptom of the disease. It's frustrating to me that in the middle of talking about Bad Bunny and halftime shows and all of that nobody's still talking about the fact that the Super Bowl leads to the largest source of human trafficking that happens in our country every single year. I mean, prostitution, trafficking, kidnapping, rape, assault, all of the stuff happens around the Super Bowl. That stuff spikes in the cities where the Super Bowl's happening. It just literally, it's like a flame for moths is where it all goes. Nobody's talking about that stuff. Nobody's talking about that stuff. We live in an evil, disgusting, sick world, and unfortunately, the people who have the power, have the money, have the ability to hide themselves are using the utmost secrecy to make sure that they. So you see files that come out like this where, like, they confirm that Trump called the police on Epstein in 2006. Now, you look at something like that, and people are going to say, no, this right here, this is Eric Doherty. He said that Trump blew the whistle on Epstein's activities in 2006. Says Trump was one of the first ones to make a phone call here. Now, people are going to turn that. They're going to go, okay. I mean, let's just look at some of the comments that are there. And Trump says in the thing, he says, she was evil, need to focus on her. And so then people are going to comment under here and say, oh, Ghislaine Maxwell was evil, yet he hooked her up with better prison conditions. And so then you've got people who are going to, no matter what, Trump, this comes out, nobody's going to say, hey, look, Trump called the law. And so anyway. So there you go. Then you got a person, well, I thought Epstein was a Democrat hoax, according to Trump. See, again, you take that one phrase of what he said. He was specifically referring to something. Trump's not always the best communicator. I think we've established that.
Yeah.
When he was talking about hoax, he was talking about the fact that they're going to try to pin everything on him. Just like somebody the other day on my social media. Some of these people have honestly just had to unfriend. Like, I just see that, like, they're obsessed with this stuff, and it's just kind of coming out real stupid right now of saying, well, Trump was named 3,500 times. Oh, okay. Is that your magnetic, you're just drawn to that? Like, oh, Trump was named? Like, I honestly, and I said this kind of tongue-in-cheek at dinner last night, I don't know when Epstein had time to do all these things that he did that were so evil, when he spent so much time sending all these dadgum emails to indict everybody just by the court of public opinion with this stuff. But it says right here that Trump was one of the very first people to call when people found out they were investigating Epstein. So what is it? I mean, did he not do this, or did he do it?
I don't know, but think about what that took for him to make that phone call. Because how many people would make that phone call? Somebody that would take the time to make that phone call.
Yeah. So,
anybody else made a phone call.
Well, I mean, where was the Biden administration for 4 years? They had all this stuff.
Well,
where was the Biden administration?
There was nothing in there they could find against Donald Trump, so they didn't want to bring it out because it would bring out other people and their names in it.
Yeah. So it's just the whole thing, man. So you got this former police chief who says that Trump thanked him for stopping Epstein. All right. This is an ABC News report that he told him, said, thank goodness you're stopping Epstein. This was in the 2000s here. So what's the deal? Why would this guy say that? This is Palm Beach, Florida, in the mid-2000s, called him to say, thank goodness you're stopping him. Everyone has known he's been doing this. What did Trump do to stop him? We know that he booted him from Mar-a-Lago. Oh, but there's a picture with him. He's in a picture with. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but people with a lot of money tend to run with people with a lot of money. You tend to go to the same places. That's the whole deal.
Just because your picture's with somebody doesn't mean, doesn't mean anything.
I mean, my picture is with a lot of people. It doesn't mean I agree with those people or I like those people or I condone. Like I've shown up in pictures with certain people. If that's really going to be the standard, I've seen too many of these things. Like you can say, oh, he was mentioned in an email 3,500 times or something like that. But when I see stuff like this, and this is ABC News, I tend to lean a little more towards a guy who literally could verify that he made a phone call to thank Trump for, standing against this guy, Michael Reiter. So that's the police chief's name. And that's from a document on the Department of Justice's website. His detectives were, scroll back down just a little bit, David. Let me see that sentence, what it says, because I'm learning too. Says that he was investigating Epstein for allegedly recruiting girls as young as 14 years old to provide massages that turned sexual. We reported on that back in, 2000 at the Blaze. We did our deep dives on that. So, 4-page FBI report summarizing Reiter's testimony in October 2019, which was 2 months after Epstein's death. Donald Trump told him that he threw Epstein out of his club. Trump called the Palm Beach Police Department to tell him, thank goodness you're stopping him. Everyone's known he's been doing this. So if they knew he was doing this, if law enforcement knew he was doing this, are we going to hold law enforcement accountable too for this if they knew? Again, what's provable? You can know somebody's doing something. Like I know Diddy is trash, but I couldn't prove in the court of law that he was a human trafficker, not the way they tried to, right? That's the difference. So, people ask the question, why weren't the police stopping him? Why would Donald Trump call the police just to say, hey?
You can accuse anybody of anything, but there's no evidence for them to.
There's really not.
What can they do? There's nothing they can do. Their hands are tied.
The cool thing about that ABC article is looking at it, just perusing it. They actually wrote it like journalistic objectivity, which is rare in this day and age. I want to see you guys there in the chat. What do y'all think? I've been ignoring the chat. It's like Steve and I just were driving in the truck talking about this kind of stuff. You guys are, I forgot there's 1,100, 1,200 people that are watching this thing. How are y'all? You guys okay? Y'all are there? I'd love to hear your opinion on this thing. Drop us a comment down below. If you haven't subscribed, do that on the channels. I was doing some research the other day, Steve, about getting podcasts to go higher in the ranks, and how to use SEO and stuff like that. It's all boring. And people have to go subscribe to the podcast. So if it's on whatever, Spotify or Apple, and that helps it in the rankings, I think. I don't know.
Well, you've added like 1,000 people to Rumble in the last probably 3 days that are subscribing.
Did we?
Yeah.
Got to put my readers out. I can't see what we're doing anymore.
I can't.
Epstein. Here's a flashback. Epstein victim's attorney. He said Trump helped him. Play this clip right here.
The only thing that I can say about President Trump is that he is the only person who, in 2009, when I served a lot of subpoenas on a lot of people, or at least gave notice to some pretty connected people that I wanted to talk to them, he is the only person who picked up the phone and said, let's just talk. I'll give you as much time as you want. I'll tell you what you need to know, and was very helpful in the information that he gave, and gave no indication whatsoever that he was involved in anything untoward whatsoever, but had good information that checked out and that helped us.
We've seen that clip numerous times. I mean, at what point in time?
That's the thing. We've seen it, but the people on the right, whether it's on social media or whatever, they don't see that. They have a different internet. I've said that over and over.
Yeah, it's so fascinating to me. Like, I don't have a problem believing that about Trump. Now, Trump has his flaws. All people do. But, I don't have a problem believing that. Like, I've just seen enough to know that the guy really, he seems to do the right thing by people. I mean, remember Jennifer Hudson? Her family gets murdered. He puts her up at Trump Tower. I mean, takes care of her, pays the bills, the whole thing. I mean, like, there's story after story after story of these things. And here's a timeline right here. 2004, banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago. 5, he reports his behavior to authorities. 9, cooperates with Epstein victim's lawyer. 17, signs executive order targeting human trafficking. Remember when he did that and nobody showed up? Like nobody in the press pool showed up for that thing. He has this event at the White House, and it was an empty room where he signed that executive order, which told me a lot. 2019, Epstein was arrested during Trump's presidency. In 19, FBI raid on Epstein's island. 25, they released the Epstein files. And then, phase whatever. Again, we're now coming up on a year when I was at the White House and literally got crucified for hoping against hope that we were going to see that this was phase 1 and maybe more and more was going to come out. We didn't, we were hoping.
Why did it take 13, 14 years for Epstein to get arrested?
I mean, well, you got to be able to prove it in the court of law. You got to collect the evidence. You got to do the investigation. You got to do all the stuff. So, I held that against Pam Bondi all along. She was the attorney general in Florida during all that stuff. Why wasn't she? She knew. I mean, part of this stuff that we're up against with Maxwell and the statutes and all these, all those kind of things, that's Pam Bondi's doing. She had her hand in it. She was the attorney general of Florida. And so now we're up against the stuff that were done under her watch in Florida. And, of course, now she's over the DOJ federally. And it's like, frustrates me, man. Just frustrates me. All right. Real quick, Patriot Protect. You can't afford to not have Patriot Protect. If you go to patriot-protect.com/Chad, use promo code CHAD, I spell it Chad, you're going to get 15% off on your annual subscription to Patriot Protect. Now, I'm a customer over there. I am a customer of Patriot Protect. I believe in them. If you Google your name and address, you're going to find yourself. All of your information is out there. They will help scrub the internet, get you off of those Google search engines. There's like 250 different engines out there that will show all of your information. It's out there, and you've had leaks, everything from ChatGPT, Airbnb, or VRBO, whichever one of those is. But all these different deals, it has leaked your information. They know how to go out and scrub your information off the internet. You literally can't afford to not have them. It works out to like $7 a month. Come on. What are you thinking here? Patriot-protect.com/Chad. You need to have it. All right. Pinheads of the day. An anti-ice shop. It's a coffee shop in Denver. And they don't want your business if you support ice. Here you go.
May I have an oatmeal latte, please?
All right. Would you like that hot or iced?
Hot, obviously.
So cringe.
My Lord, these people. That girl might need to. Never mind. She might need to lay off the high fructose corn syrup. Shut up, Steve.
I'm completely silent. I get in trouble real fast.
So cringe, dude. So cringe. Do you ever watch Ben Bankus? Do you ever watch his stuff? He got canceled in Minneapolis, like 6 shows.
I probably have, but I probably don't know that I have.
You'll recognize him here. Play the clip. This is what he said about Bad Bunny.
I don't want to be like fucking Bad Bunny. Hello, I am Bad Bunny. Ice out. I currently am not legally in America. This guy's about to do the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl. Why? The crazy thing is that they think the Democrats are like perfect opportunity to showcase our agenda when all the Republicans are watching TV. But what they don't realize is during the halftime show, we turn it off. Turn it off. Unless there's somebody fucking, why not Kid Rock? I want to see Kid Rock fucking shooting some Bud Light.
Stop him right there. Go ahead. I don't want to hear all that. I don't know where he was going with that, but no, I'm not going to listen to all that. Let's pay attention to our clips there, boys. He does have a lot of F-bombs, but he's pretty honest with his stuff. I don't know, Steve. We're living in an evil world, man. Evil is not neutral.
Yeah, we do. I spend more time tuned out than I do tuned in, and it's been very helpful.
I think we live in an evil world, dude. We live in an evil world, and it again. I go back to what I said at the very beginning. It just grieves me that my children. I look them in the eye, and I want to be able to know that I put something inside them that was of value. And when this world is coming after them, man, they're coming after hearts and minds. Like, for instance, when they did the Lift All Voices thing, remember a couple of years ago, everybody was all up in arms about the Lift All Voices, and that thing was like the precursor to the precursor to the precursor of the show the other day. The girl had what was her name? Gosh, she had a fantastic voice singing that song. And, now that's just kind of been relegated to, people don't even really talk about it's just what they do, the Lift All Voices thing, whatever. I mean, I'm not looking to the NFL to be my moral compass or my cultural compass or my historical compass. I'm not looking for all that.
Nope.
But I do know that I've got a generation of people out there who are being influenced by this stuff, whether it's Hollywood or sports or, and I wish we could bring back some heroes, I guess, just some people that kind of valued some things. And every time a microphone's shoved in front of their face, they don't use it as an opportunity to speak out against the country, which gave them the privilege and the opportunity to say the stupid things that they say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a fact. Speaking of the Super Bowl, though, was that like a good game? I mean, I know there was good defense,
horrible game,
but was the offense that crappy?
All of it. Both defenses were good the first half. It was garbage. I won't break down the specifics on what was happening, but 3 and out, but it just kept putting Seattle in a better field position so that eventually they were able to, in the first half, grab more field goals. They grabbed,
Yeah.
And then they kind of opened up a little bit in the second half, but it was a terrible game.
Yeah, I watched the first half, and then after that I was done. I went and played with the grandkids.
Yeah, it wasn't a great game. Wasn't a great game, but, there it is. Football season's over. Okay, on to the next.
Time to gear up for baseball's right around the corner, I'm sure.
That's all that really matters.
Yeah.
That's all that really matters, Steve, is baseball season.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I know. Steve, any final words before I
I don't have any final words. That's it. I'll see you bright and early in the morning on Before the Noise. Bright and early. 7 Eastern, right? 6 a.m. Central.
Yeah, and it's crazy. There's no accidents. I don't worry about it. Like, they give us that hour. I'm going to take that hour. It's fine. I know that it's really early for people on the West Coast. It's really early for a lot of folks. There's a lot of stuff going on in the morning, but that's the whole deal. I want to try to get out there before the noise and do it. And that platform is sort of opening up a lot of doors to be able to go out there and speak some truth in some places, and I'm excited about it. We're doing a deal in April called Read the Bible, where a whole bunch of us are going to Washington, D.C., and we're reading through the Bible over the course of a couple of days. And I've got my assignment, and then Franklin Graham's going to do a gospel presentation at the end of it. But they're going to read the entire Bible in Washington, D.C., which is whew.
That's like 24/7 reading for a couple of days, right?
Yeah. There's going to be a lot.
Good deal.
It's going to be a lot. Read the whole Bible over the course of however many days.
Yeah, if you have enough people, though, you don't have to read a whole lot, right?
No, I think I read like a couple of the epistles right there, like 1 Peter, 2 Peter. I read those.
So what do? You step up to the mic, you read yours, and then you step back, somebody else steps in?
I guess so.
That's all right.
But it's kind of a who's who. There's a lot of people involved with that thing. And so I'll go to D.C. to read the Bible. I'm cool with it. I think it's a neat thing, man. Neat opportunity to be able to do that. Phone is blowing up. I have to get on some people, man. I know they don't watch this show. Nobody watches this show. What are we even doing here? Why are we here? I just want to tell people about Jesus, man. Jesus. I know. I love every one of you guys. I'm so thankful for you. This is good therapy for me. I don't know if you guys can even hear Steve when he's not on the screen, but he keeps on talking. He's just over there just having a little conversation with himself. I will be in the Carolinas next week. I will be in Wednesday night. I need to run some ads, actually. Wednesday night, I'm in Charlotte at the Comedy Zone. Thursday night, I'm going to be in Greenville, South Carolina, at the Comedy Zone. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, going to be in Greensboro, North Carolina at the Comedy Zone. So, whew, whole lot going on. Go to watchchad.com and go check it out. Go check it out. And then, of course, Before the Noise. And joinabovethenoise.com. Joinabovethenoise.com. All one deal. You got to put the join on the front of it. So there it is. Go over there. I put a new class out yesterday, and the whole file was corrupt. So I got to go back and re-record that. I'm going to jump on here in just a little bit. I got to go record with Sarah Gonzalez for her show on The Blaze. Sarah Gonzalez Unfiltered. All right, just a final word, if you want to play the little graphic there. You know, I think this is where it really lands for me is the whole Bad Bunny thing or whatever we're looking at in our world, whatever the headline is. We're looking, folks, at a culture that keeps pretending that standards still exist, but every time the standard becomes inconvenient, they move the line. So if we're going to say there's rules, like FCC rules or law and order rules or justice rules or whatever, just rules, and we're going to be told that there's protections to be an American citizen. For instance, the Bad Bunny thing. If you're going to be told that broadcast television is regulated for a reason, and yet somehow explicit sexual content is going to make it onto the biggest stage in American media because it's delivered in a language that most people can't translate, that's negligence. And I think that's where it comes down. We are negligent. Someone just asked me on another program before we started this one about where we are in America. And I said, we've neglected so many things. The truth, our foundations, our faith, our history, neglected it. And so again, the distraction has led to drift. And you know, we talk about language mattering and words mattering. It doesn't matter if they're offered up in Spanish or English. If protecting kids matters. Now, you can't sit there. These people are up in arms about the Epstein files and say, oh, it's all about protecting kids. But yet, we just had the largest viewed Super Bowl halftime show, 135 million viewers, if they're telling the truth, for Bad Bunny. And we just explicitly put stuff out there where you got lyrics in Spanish that are pure filth. You're not really protecting kids. So it kind of falls on deaf ears. And also the Super Bowl, which is one of the biggest pinnacles of human trafficking that happens in our country every year. So you take things like the FCC, Federal Communications Commission. It exists to uphold public standards. And those standards, they don't stop at the subtitles, right? And it wasn't accidental. It was approved. Everything they do was approved. They knew exactly what lyrics he was going to say. Somebody signed off on it. It was waved through by the people because they assumed, well, either nobody's going to bother to ask or you're not allowed to ask because if you do, then you're just full of hate. But we did ask. We looked it up. We translated the lyrics. We pulled back the curtain. And the crazy thing is, I'm not confused, but I am disgusted. My feelings aren't hurt. But I'm sitting there saying, okay, so what are we producing in this world if we're not going to hold people accountable? You know the truth. We're not going to hide feelings behind a language barrier. You know what I mean? We're still going to call it out. And so that's what we're doing. It's not about censoring somebody because they're from another culture, another country, or, you know, or a province of America or whatever their background is. It's not about censoring that. It's about discernment, man. I'm not afraid of culture, but I got some common sense. The fact that this even needs to be said tells us how far the conversation has drifted into distraction. So I'm not about canceling anybody. I'm about waking up and holding some people accountable, man. So if we're just going to refuse to let this craziness and the evil that's in our world just go around unchecked and just get smuggled into our lives and our homes, into our children and our grandchildren, and we're going to put it under the guise of the banner of entertainment or whatever it is, we're consenting to that. We're consenting to that. Now, halftime shows come and go. There'll be another one next year, and it will be equally outraged because now they've seen what produces the viewership. But again, we better start paying attention to this stuff and start dealing with it right now Because we got a country that's being lost, and we got a bunch of dummies out there who have no clue what the consequences would be if they truly got a world that they're begging for. All right, got to go. Love you guys. See you tomorrow morning before the noise. Make sure you hit that like, that thumbs up, all the good stuff you need to do. Go subscribe. Go find us where podcasts are offered and subscribe, all right, to both the Chad Prather Show as well as Before the Noise. All right, I'm out of here. I love you guys. For Party Foul Steve, follow him at Party Foul Steve. Follow at David Medina PDX on socials, and follow him on his gubernatorial run there in the Republican primaries in Oregon. And I love you guys. God bless you. Hit a thumbs up before you get out of here, and we will talk to you next time. Until then, bye.